I'm recovering from a flu, but I wanted to do this week's video regardless because this was my commitment. And this week is being especially difficult because we are on that week that we know always comes when self-doubt starts creeping in and motivation is off and it's okay and I had the flu, but if I didn't have the flu, I would have another excuse because more than anything, this week I am feeling like there's a lot of emotional stuff that I'm unpacking and feeling, and those stuff that just happened with life happening and whatever. So, like today, more than anything, I feel that I need to focus on myself, like literally focus on myself. It's one of those days that it's difficult to even think about the next step. Even more like thinking about a full video that makes sense and remove all of this self-doubt that is creeping in. So I feel like I just need step one, just to take a shower, to get dressed, maybe putting some makeup would help, just to help boosting my spirits up. And I guess we'll go from there. And so today I will film this process and maybe talk a bit about it because, yeah, it's you're finding out with me what this video is about. So let's go for that. First of all, my house is a complete mess, and I feel always that my house represents my state of mind. And so maybe a good step would even be for me to make things start moving again. Maybe to clean a bit my environment. I feel that will help me to ease up my mind. So I'm going to start with that. My nails also definitely show the state of my mind. We are going to put some makeup just to help better the mood, I guess. In the end, I only put like I left my hoodie on. I want to take a walk and I don't know, I feel like moving my body will be helpful. Just taking a walk doesn't need to be a whole ton, but to shift the mood, to shift everything, I feel that will be very helpful. I mean, it's funny, I knew this was going to happen eventually because it's obviously what has been happening so far in order for me not to be able to do the things I want. And like, for example, quite literally this YouTube channel. So what's been getting in my way? And the thing is, it's okay for these days to come. I want to feel them. It's important for me to have days where I feel way more introspective and where I feel that when I can actually question, where are you going? What are you doing? Is this okay for you? How can we fine tune this? How can we not? So it's a good reflection day, and I do appreciate it. Although, of course, and I think in this case, it's kind of like society has wired us all somewhat to link productivity and activity to success. And it's like, even if you're somewhat aware of that thing consciously, in a conscious way, it still takes a toll on you somewhat, and you still feel like, because society is wired in this way, it's built in this way, it's capitalism in a way, it's how things are, and it's okay, it's cool, but I mean, in a way, of course, I feel that other options maybe at this point would be cool, but this is what we have so far. So, not complaining, just, I guess, stating what it is. And although if I would be complaining, it's okay too. And how things are built, I mean, especially in the arts field, it's a field that it's so going with your own flow and feeling everything out. It needs time. It needs time to create stuff, to for stuff for stuff to be built from it. And sometimes I feel like we don't have that time because it's how things are built. And of course, we are more than ever like everything is really quick, and we expect ourselves to be really quick. Our biology, our core, it's like we are machines somewhat, and we're not machines. We are human beings, and we are here to be and to experience and to express. And not every day is an express day. Although I can see the pun here. We want it to be express, but it's not. It's very slow. And so then it's like, of course, I do want to create something from it. I want this to be the way that I powered my life. This is how I want to earn money. This is what I want to do with my life. But it's, of course, with that conundrum that I feel like people, especially people that aren't in the art fields and the creativity fields, they don't really understand. It's just like you just have to push yourself and discipline and all of that. And sure, yeah, I see that to some degree there are some parts that we do have to push ourselves, but there are some others that we really can't. And even like people that really aren't wired for that. And it doesn't mean like necessarily that they don't want to do anything or they're not ambitious, or it's just we're all wired different. And society really has a tendency to, reward some people and not others. We're very aware of this. It's not like it's not an isolated thing. This is everywhere, and it sucks. It sucks. Even your own realization that you're wired to think of things in this way, it can take a while for you to realize it because it's how we're educated. And then so it's like you are educated to criticize yourself immensely and to beat yourself down immensely if you're not one of the gang. There's a lot of internal shame associated with all of this, and it can be a toughie. But of course, I mean, at least I try to be more aware of that, and again, that's okay. So on these days, it's like we come to the decision again of, because there are no rights or wrongs, there is no black or white, there are no right answers. It's just like, what do we want to do today with this information? Today I do feel it's a day where I do need to move and to have some action. Also because I am practicing and I have promised myself to create a video per week. Although I didn't put a time limit to it, maybe I should. Maybe we can say like 3 months, starting on January 1st. But it's just an exercise I'm doing with myself. And it doesn't mean anything necessarily. It's just actually a personal exercise that I'm doing here. There's a part that society forgets very regularly, that is the emotional part. For all of this to work flawlessly, we have to forget our own emotional world. We have to disconnect from it. Even I do feel that I have grown so much into embracing my own emotional self. I can say I'm partially disconnected from myself. It's becoming even more obvious recently. I don't like it, but I can also see like it's a two-edged sword. Of course, there are times where I wish, and I have found myself wishing, to not have such deep emotional reactions to things in my life. Like, for example, this day, today. Stuff happens and I feel unmotivated, and it becomes harder to function, I guess. But it's okay. It's like rainy days. It's winter. It's winter time. We're on the season of introspection and going within. It's just the accepting part, and it's okay. And I do accept it. It's just that it's not black and white again. It goes up and down, and sometimes, yeah. I mean, creativity wasn't built to, I feel, work flawlessly every day. Although, of course, and you can argue that you can use these days as a fuel to your creativity. But the thing is that you won't have results every week necessarily, or every day necessarily. It can even be once per year, and all fueled by these dates. So it's not a 9 to 5. It's much more fluid. It's funny because it's a good exercise. It allows me to play with this and to figure out, okay, but you can't do nothing about society right now. You will have to play somewhat by those rules. So can you be creative enough to create what you want from what it is right now? Is there any way? And I feel like this is why I'm trying this today of, okay, I don't know what video to do. I can't draw today. I can't do anything creatively today. I'm recovering from sickness, from sickness. But what can you do with this? And I guess I got to this conclusion that I still don't know what it is. So you're figuring out with me, like I said. I've been really enjoying using eyeliner. I mean, I've been enjoying this for a couple of years now, but I've been doing a very small eyeliner that, I don't know, it's good enough for me. It makes me feel a bit better. There's also something funny that I kind of want to mention, and I don't want to forget about it. So maybe I'll mention it now. That, I love creating goals. I love the illusion that I'm moving somewhat, although now we're practicing the action itself. Those New Year resolutions, I usually divide them by the different areas of my life. So, work, relationships, family, health. Oh, and self development also. Me personally. So the relationships and self development area are really connected, at least in my life. It's an area that I really love to explore. And with relationships, I mean any kind of relationship. Not, I don't mean like necessarily like a love relationship. But yeah, it's one of the areas I love the most. It's one of the areas where I feel like I need to learn the most and I want to learn the most. So it's one of my biggest priorities. And it's funny that, well, of course, it's something that we definitely need in our lives. But of course, we can't necessarily monetize it. So it's like, if you can monetize it, won't you have room for it every day in your life? Of course not. I still have room for that. I mean, you can argue also that some people do monetize that. Psychologists. And yeah. There are creative ways that we can do this. But yes, I don't want to monetize my relationships in any way. But I want them to be a priority. And of course, one of the big hurdles for me always is, or what I'm trying to learn, how to have time for everything, really. That's always one of the biggest and most difficult parts for me. Because for me personally, my self development and my relationships, I can say, and I've realized this very recently, they are indeed like number one priority in my life right now. Anything else is falling after that. And with this, I mean the videos and my own hobbies. This was a hard one. And it didn't used to be like this. I was always like a big, huge hobby aficionado. It was very interesting because I did a meditation a couple of months ago. It was a death meditation where we would have to imagine that we were dead and we were doing our life review, seeing all the moments that were important in your life. But of course, there was a slight time limit. And I did that meditation and I realized that all of the moments that came to my head while I was seeing myself since I was a baby, or imagining myself as a baby, and going through every moment since then, 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5. And I realized that until now, the only moments that came to my mind were the moments or the people that were with me. And this was very important for me, this realization. I wouldn't want to die, and then at the end of that meditation I realized I didn't want to die in any way, because I want to live so much more with other people. I want to have so much more experiences, like with other people, and not me by myself alone. And I guess in a way that is what I'm doing here, but not quite, because I am connecting with people on the internet, and this is my way of reaching out to them, I guess, even in my own individual life. But still trying to figure out and manage, and you know, because there's a lot to overcome even for me to get there. So it is interesting in that sense. At this point, I'm just doing makeup just because it's just it's making me feel good. Makes me feel a bit less potato. Although this hair. And today, this is going to be the outfit. I don't know. Am I still brave enough to go to the street? It's kind of raining, but we'll go. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna wear my headphones. Top. Yo. We're not doing anything about the nails today, so this is how we are going. We are going to take, though, our Fitbit. I want to see how many steps we're doing, because we need to move. 0. Oh my god. And so, now that I know my true priorities, a question arises. How can I manage everything? Because this is fun and good things can come from it, but it's not my highest priority. My emotions are my highest priority. My relationships, my path of self-discovery. But I do love art and videos and expression. How can I water every plant without letting any wither? I wonder if I can have it all. Or maybe I'm being too ambitious. But I'm sure there must be a creative way to link all of these. I think I'll be able to find that way too. Verdict. Did the walk help? I can't say already, but 700 steps? 7,000? Not that bad. These days aren't the easiest, but they're a part of the way. And it's important to realize that and to state that these days will never disappear. And even if I was to choose a path that wasn't this one, there would be another set of challenges that would come in my way. So it's important to state that. I feel that sometimes we forget that, or we think that the right path has less challenge, or it has no challenge, or has no things that we don't like, and it's not true. We are choosing our own consequences. We are choosing the things, or we are wishing to choose the things we like the least. It's the yin and yang of life. And so with this, I wish to choose my own consequences the best I can. There are people that can work with it and that they have found their own ways, and I wish to become one of them. One of the people that was able to find their own way and is happy with that choice. So this is why I choose today to still want to create the video, because this is something I want to do, even though I'm having a bad day. And so I'm pushing a bit forward in this direction and creating out of nothing. And it might be the most pointless video I ever make, but it is okay. And I am okay with this. And not forgetting, next week I will still create or try to complete the challenge. It was 2 weeks. Give me a break.